Well, we've reached the conclusion 2 days later. And let me start. I'll give many thanks over the next few minutes, but particularly thanks to you, those of you who made the effort to travel here, long distances, no end of inconvenience for many of you to be here and to share these 2 days with us. The commitment you made to be here with us over these 2 days is just a reflection of the commitment that you show collectively, day after day, year after year, to our community at home and abroad. Our community, one community. We've seen a lot over the last few days. We've had over 230 people registered for the conference. We've had 25 sessions of work. We have had representation from, I tried to do it alphabetically, Abu Dhabi, America, comes back as the United States in a little while, Australia, Belgium, Britain, Canada, Dubai, France, Germany, Italy, Kenya, New Zealand, Portugal, Scotland, Switzerland, from all over Ireland, north and south. We've, according to the caterers, we've consumed over 2,000 cups of coffee. The number of ideas we've had and shared is enormous, and the potential for what we've discussed over the last couple of days is frankly infinite. Looking back over the last couple of days, I know there's been discussion on the development and implementation of our own policy document. I think it's a shared policy document, Global Irish, Ireland's diaspora policy. It's 2 years now since we launched it and since we had your feedback at this forum. And I think that policy has helped to bring cohesion to our very diverse community. And it's helped to open our eyes to some of the opportunities that are out there, the opportunities to strengthen our connection to each other, to our history, and to our heritage. And for us, this is an active, living policy document. It's not a piece of text that sits on a shelf. And we continue to refine, develop, and reflect on it. I want to acknowledge the work that our Irish Abroad Unit and our embassies abroad do in working with you to give life to this document. It's particularly important at a time of real uncertainty. As Irish diplomats, we're particularly fortunate to have a support like you around the world who work tirelessly for our communities and for our country, supporting the vulnerable, promoting Ireland as a place to visit, to do business, promoting reconciliation, promoting peace. In your work, we've no better advertisement for the values of inclusion, compassion, the value of people that we seek to bring to our own work overseas. And over the last few days, we've seen evidence of this work, and I know that what we've seen is just the tip of the iceberg. We hold ourselves to account for the work that we do. To follow up on the forum, we're going to circulate a feedback survey to you, and we'll measure your response to our work and try to measure the impact of this forum. We'll use that information as well to consider further the most effective and sustainable ways we can deepen engagement and best ensure ongoing communication with Irish community groups abroad. The theme for this forum has been communities, connections, conversations. Our objective was to facilitate the groups we work with, to meet each other, to learn from each other, to inspire each other, and to make your work with Irish communities easier and more successful. I hope this has provided you with the opportunity to connect and I hope those connections are sustained. Likewise, too, is the constant and behind-the-scenes work that you do to improve governance, to raise funds, to plan your organisation's futures. And that work makes a real impact on the frontline services you provide. And I know every day you're striving to do more and do it better. And I believe events like this can help us in this goal. We've had over the last couple of days insights on the evolving needs of our communities, with a range of views on the needs of Irish-born emigrants in new and old locations, the sons and daughters of emigrants, the hyphenated Irish, and what we can do to engage the affinity diaspora. On communications, we heard from social media experts about how to engage in new ways with new audiences. But of course, we also need to remember the important audience who might still like to get their information through traditional methods. People like me who buy their newspaper in the morning still. I'd encourage all of you to use the Global Irish Communications Toolkit document put together by the Irish Abroad Unit specially for this forum. It was a key piece of work to assist with getting outcomes from the forum, to assist you in helping getting your message to more people. The cultural panel saw yet more insights and different perspectives about how we can respect our traditions but develop a shared Irish identity based on shared Irish values. Particularly interesting discussion, particularly important one. And I don't know if it was because someone in this room liked the video and worked some magic, but I understand that Aidan Connolly and the Irish Arts Centre got a big donation last night for their work. On voting rights, I know there was a great discussion, and thank all of you for contributing so actively and so passionately to this issue. We heard Iseult Honohan describe citizenship as the right to have rights. Senator Billy Lawless invoked O'Connell and the spirit of the Easter Rising, calling our communities abroad to action. He's clearly learned from his fellow Chicagoman and former President Obama in designing a new slogan for us, Tuair Doing an Vóta. Minister Coveney also looked for the diaspora to play a role in assisting the government to make their plan to extend voting rights to Irish citizens resident outside the state into a reality. I want to reassure you that this department will continue to work actively with our colleagues in the Department of Housing on this important issue, and will ensure the discussions we've had over the last couple of days are reported to government to assist them in their considerations. As usual, you didn't only advocate for yourselves, but you advocated for others as well. We heard people advocating on behalf of their sons and daughters who were not born in Ireland, but are committed to Ireland and want to say. And we had a very important reminder of the need to consider the most elderly Irish emigrants who've gone a long time, but are no less Irish for it. The broader point that Minister Coveney made is also an important one that reaches beyond the issue of voting rights. Every day, the work we do as the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, whether through the Irish Abroad Unit, through the Passport Office and Consular Division, and all of our embassies and consulates abroad, is focused on turning the desire to reach out to our communities abroad into tangible action that has an impact. And thanks to all of those who shared their personal stories of emigration, of returning to Ireland, having lived abroad. Minister McHugh is prioritising support for returning emigrants in his role. He does this through his work with the departments responsible for the range of issues raised through the Interdepartmental Committee on the Irish Abroad. But he's also looking at new creative ways in which we and the Emigrant Support Programme can assist. I'm delighted that he announced funding for a new scheme to mentor returning emigrant entrepreneurs. As well as assisting individual emigrants, this will also have a knock-on benefit for their communities here in Ireland. And we looked at the issue of mental health, another issue we're prioritising, and that we'll be working closely with our own colleagues in Consular Division. It's clear that the changing international landscape is creating uncertainty and may throw up serious challenges for us at home and abroad. I've worked for the Department of Foreign Affairs for over 30 years. I've never seen so many challenges face us at any one time. And those are challenges that face us collectively. They face us at home. They face you abroad. The only way we can address them is by working collectively, by working in partnership, through cohesion. I've been delighted to have this opportunity to thank you for your efforts. Thank you for being here. Thank the panelists, the facilitators that we've had over the couple of days. And thank everyone who's taken part in reporting on discussions, catering, filming, and the media side of the event. I want to thank all of my colleagues in the department who've made this event a success. The amazing team that we have working in the Irish Abroad division. They seem like far more than they actually are. I remember as a child watching an old black and white version of Beau Geste on television, and there's a scene in Beau Geste where one legionnaire runs from one side of the fort and fires a shot, and then moves across to the other side of the fort and fires a shot, and props bodies up against the ramparts and gives the impression that the place is fiercely defended. Well, the Irish Abroad unit always seems a little like that to me. Minus the bodies. Perhaps I should have thought about that analogy before I took it too far. But our amazing small team, led by Anne Derwin, our new Director General for Global Irish Services, Celine Byrne, Chris Campbell, Roisin Casey, Yvonne Ellison, John Fullerton, Peter Howlett, Katrina Inglesby, Helena Kelleher, Anne Norton, James Rowan, Orla Tig McMahon, and Louise Wilson. Our protocol colleagues who kept events running smoothly here and keep us running smoothly in the department most of the time, Barry Tumulty, Cecily McKenna, David Ebbs. Our press and communications team, especially Aidan Cronin, Alana Maxwell, and Carol Staunton, and everyone who worked on the opening video, and the volunteers who were pulled from other work to help us out here. Amal Kawa, Niamh Griffin, Deirdre Rourke, Liam Forrestal, Rose Gahan, Aisling Kearns, Laura Kenny, Dufasa Kennedy, Niall Farrell, Eilish O'Keefe, Marie-Claire Hughes, Stephen Garry, Declan Heary, and David Conway. Those of you in the room, stand up, please, briefly. I used to tell a story during the 3 years that I had the privilege of being Irish Consul General in New York. To those who've heard it before, I apologise. But when I arrived in New York, I asked my predecessor, who may be here or may not, Tim O'Connor, what people really expected of me when I was giving speeches. And Tim said, "You should think of yourself as being a little bit like the corpse at an Irish wake," he said. "They have to have you there for the event, but nobody expects you to say very much." And the more I think about that, the more wisdom I see in what he told me. Because in a way, there is a convening power, not the convening power of the corpse perhaps, but there is a convening power that an embassy or a consulate can have. It's the convening power of the harp. And I think that probably only the government, the convening power of our embassies and networks, could have pulled together a group as diverse and as rich as this in one room. And when you see the combined effect of the experience and knowledge and wisdom in this room, the diversity that we all bring, but the common sense of purpose that we have, the strong sense of a moral compass about our work, the sense that while we're very serious about our work, we don't take ourselves too seriously and we enjoy each other's company enormously. You feel this is very, very important. More important when you see it in action than you imagine when you're planning and preparing for it. And there is work that we need to do and to carry forward now. There's work for us and there's work for you. Firstly, we need to absorb what's happened and reflect on what's happened. We'll be sending you the feedback survey. Please send it back to us. That keeps the communication going. We'll prepare a report of the ideas, some of the outcomes of this discussion, and we'll circulate it. We'll reflect on what's happened and feed it in, some of the ideas, into our own programs and our own policies. We will certainly feed in the ideas and discussions on voting rights to the ongoing work here at government level. And we'll be reporting as well to the Interdepartmental Committee on returning emigrants and the Irish abroad and advancing that agenda. From your point of view, keep in touch. So much of value happened in the connections and conversations that you've had with each other. And we'll help you to keep in touch as well. We'll give some thought to how we keep this community an active community in the period ahead. We ask you to take the communications toolkit, build on it, and develop it. And most of all, collaborate. Continue the collaboration. When you think about applications for funding, think about how there may be value across different organisations on individual themes. Think about collaboration. We will immediately give a little thought to how to keep this network together and what that is, and how to keep you in contact with each other. But in the meantime, leave with our thanks and carry away with you some of the very real fondness. We do work, but I think there are great human connections as well here. And let's carry that with us too, because the wellspring of our work is a sense of not just a care, but a sense of community that's founded on familiarity, fondness, and more than anything else, we need to keep that spirit alive among this widespread and diverse, great diaspora of ours. Join us for a drink outside. Let's talk a little before we disperse, and I look forward to seeing you back here again for the next forum. Thank you very much.